Thank you,
Good?
Carol.
Okay.
All right, so we are calling the Capital Improvement Committee meeting open, November 6th at 9:36 a.m.
I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right.
We don't have any alternates, so the next thing is the roll call elevation of alternates, but, as I said right before we were meeting, Joy has called in to say that she's not able to attend in person, so we need to do a roll call vote as the sitting quorum in order to allow her to participate via telephone.
Okay.
So I will make a motion to allow Joy Gray to participate via phone. You get to second? All in favor, say aye. Aye, just the two of us, okay. So now we can call her on that phone.
Okay.
Let's see if she, I don't know if she won. House or cell? Probably house would be better, I would think.
And that would be good because she sent over the completed and updated CIP.
Right, the updated. Second. Okay.
And so we've been lucky to have responses from fire, police, library, DPW's here today to go over theirs as well, so that's awesome. Thanks for
Hi.
coming in today, guys. And those are really like the major,
The bigger ones.
Ones,
Yeah,
so.
the bigger ones. The ones that are usually a heavier price tag.
yeah.
Alright, why don't we just try her house? You know, instead of calling out her phone number.
Yeah.
I don't know that it matters which one we use. 6, 7, 2, 6.
Complete your call, please
That's interesting. It went to a different number. So what did I say? No, it goes. That's what the line we're on. She just responded cell, so we will redo this again. A really good hacker can tell what number I'm calling based on the tones of the buttons.
Oh my goodness.
Did you know?
How do you know that?
Hello, this is Joy Gray.
Hello, Joy.
Joy.
How are you?
I am well, and no one is in the room with me, as I have to.
You can leave it
Announce
probably
that.
here so that she can hear me if I talk. Okay, yes, you must announce whether or not you have anybody in the room. And you also must let us know the reason that you are unable to attend in person.
Because I can't stand up straight.
Okay.
Medical, I'm gonna put.
Yeah.
And if this disconnects, just call me back. My cell service can be sketchy.
Okay. Just for your information, we have in the room the representatives from DPW, and then Carol, who is the videographer, and Tia and I.
Hey, gang.
Hello?
Okay, the first thing we need to do though is approval of minutes.
Yes, so I think everything is good. My name's TIA.
Oh,
That
did
was
I
the only-
do it backward? Yeah,
That's okay.
TIA.
And everything else looked good to me.
Good.
Joy, did you have any suggestions on the minutes?
I did not have a chance to review them, so I shall abstain.
Okay.
Okay. Well, since I typed them, I don't
Yeah.
have any changes
Yeah.
to them. So,
No.
then I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written with minor changes.
And that's seconded.
Tia seconding, Tia second, all in favor, you can vote. Joy, we just
I
have to
think
do,
things have to be by roll call
I
vote.
was just gonna say that, you can vote, we just have to do it by roll call. So, Schilling, aye, in favor of approval,
Tia Gagnon.
yes, in
Yes.
favor? Okay, and Joy?
Joy Gray abstain, because I have not read them.
Okay. That, on a vote of 2-0 to 1, they are approved. Okay.
Do you want to open it to public comment? I mean, we need to review everything on here anyway, and they're here to.
Right, and there's no public, so unless they have a comment or concern or question or something that doesn't pertain to already what you're on the agenda to do, then we can just move on from public comments to, we don't have any old business because we didn't have any old business. We're fairly
new.
new, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just move right into then new business.
Yeah. And I think we can start with these guys so they can
Okay, so they can get back to
get
work.
going. Yeah. So thank you for filling out your cost analysis and your CIP information. We appreciate it. We know that you guys have like the bulk of this, so it's a lot of work, and it's very helpful.
Is there another copy of this? I'm looking at the, Joy, just for your information, they brought with them a copy of the capital improvement plan detail sheet. And where the handwritten in is the iWork rating in column K. But I
That's
don't.
great, that's very helpful.
Yeah, so I will make sure that we get at least, we have another copy of this, we have a third copy?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll make sure that that gets to you this afternoon, that way you can take a look at it, but I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna see if I can't take a picture of it and text it to you, so you can at least be kinda scrolling along and looking at it with us.
Okay,
To messages, JOY. Okay, should be on its way to you.
thank you.
You're welcome. So, which one of them wants to lead off with maybe just a general overview of,
You wanna go over the sheets that we filled out?
You wanna do new first or old?
these?
Yeah.
I think that's for Joy too, we'll bring that to her. How about we start with stuff that's near term, like gonna be in this year, 2020, are all of these 2026?
No.
This is just.
Because
all of
I'm
that
looking at
stuff.
fiscal year start 2026,
Oh,
fiscal
so
year
that
start
should be,
2026.
should have been, when we think needs to be replaced, the date.
Right, the year that you think you wanna put it into the capital, or to start funding it through the capital improvement plan, so.
I wasn't sure I did that, and I wasn't sure if that's
That's
what
okay.
it meant, or if this meant we're starting 2026, we're going to be putting money into,
If that's what you mean, if starting in 2026 you want to start putting money into the capital improvement
Right,
plan.
but are you going to do that even with this very first truck, is truck one, that's our pickup truck, is probably in another
The
5
plan
years,
to-
you're going to want to replace that, but do you want to start putting money into that next year? That's
Right.
kind of, I didn't know really
Okay.
what
That's
that
a
meant.
good question.
That's a good question. So one of the things maybe we should add to this is anticipated year of replacement.
Yeah.
That way.
That's on there.
Oh, it is?
Where?
That's column M.
No, we're looking at the templates.
The
I got
cost
it.
analysis.
Right, on the cost analysis template, it says fiscal
Yeah.
year start, which would be the year that you're starting to put the money in, but nowhere on here does
Got
it show the anticipated year of replacement, purchase, whatever.
Right.
So we'll need to add that.
Yeah, for now, folks, we put them in the description.
Yeah,
Okay.
year of replacement, purchase. Okay, and put it in the description. So for this first one, the equipment replacement, truck one, the 2022 Chevy Silverado pickup.
Right.
I would say the year of replacement would be 2029, that would make it 7
7
years
years.
old.
Right.
Can you hear them, Joy?
Yep.
Okay.
What line number is that on the CIP?
'21,
Thank you.
'22?
No,
Thank
2022,
you.
2022 Chevy Silverado. Yeah, truck one.
So the CIP is 2032, but we're changing that to,
2029.
Well, you could do 2022, I mean, it'll be 7 years old in 2029. 7 years old is a pretty long lifespan because we use that every day and we use it all winter for plowing.
How many miles and hours do you guys put on that truck? I mean, heavy use to me means you're putting eight hours a day on it
No,
pretty
no,
much
no,
every
no.
day. So
No, we're not, but it's a 3-year-old truck and we've got 45 on it now,
Yeah.
45,000. So,
it looks like it has 34,840 miles on it.
that was the last time that it was entered in iWork. It's over 40,000 now.
did you hear that? It's over 40,000.
In 2 or 3 years? That's not too bad.
No, it's
not a
bad.
big
It's not
town.
too bad, but what the truck is doing is pretty hard on the
Plowing,
truck.
yeah.
Right,
So-
yeah. Over 40,000 miles of.
And that has a life expectancy of, was it 100, we think, ish, given the way we use it?
Given the way we use it, a rule of thumb that I used to go by when I had several of my own plow trucks is once the pickup trucks, after the 4th year, I got rid of them after plowing with them every year. It just started costing too much money. And that was always the rule of thumb that we use. Trucks are a lot better than they used to be now, but, and this truck is in pretty good shape, we take care of it, so I think we can get 7 years out of it.
All right, well, we can always put it in here for anticipated, and if for some reason it's still going gangbusters, that we don't have to purchase it, but we've been putting money away for it to anticipate that, and that's what I think is the more important piece of this, is planning for that eventual replacement and giving the town a chance to manage through that. So if you're gonna anticipate replacing it in 7 years, but it ends up not being replaced for 10 years, all the better for the town,
Right.
that we get more use out of it. And then I'm sure at 7 years, we're gonna have to do the cost benefit analysis. How much is it costing to maintain? How much does it cost to buy a new one? How much would we get for a trade-in or outright sale, that kind of thing, so.
And those numbers are difficult to come up with because when don't know what we'll get for a trade or a sale. And we don't know what a new one's going to cost 6, 7, 8 years down the road. It's
Right.
pretty hard to put a number on.
Well, you can go into auctions and things and look to see what, like, a 7-year-old 3/4 ton truck, you know,
Well,
take a look at
yes.
15 of them and say, okay, the average is somewhere around 10 grand or whatever. I mean, you can do that. It's got a big asterisk on it because it's not a, until you get to the point where you're actually going to sell the truck or trade it in, you're not gonna get an actual number. We understand
Right.
that, but you can get an
I was
estimate.
talking more about replacement cost of a new truck. It's pretty hard to put a number or even estimate a number on what a new truck like that's going to cost in 2029.
What the market will.
Yeah.
What the market's going to do. I mean, I know what I paid for my personal truck in 2021, and they're already $15,000 more than I paid for it. You know, so
Right.
how do you?
Given that,
You
we can put in here, and you can put, again, an asterisk on it that says, and, you know, we looked at what a 2025 truck would cost of the same comparable, you know, the truck we would want, and then we used an escalation factor of 10% a year to arrive at this number. But it's an asterisk, again, because it's just
Right.
it's a pull it out of the internet kind
Well,
of cost.
Kind
But
of,
it gives
yeah.
an idea.
I put 65 to 80,000 in that box as, you know, a guesstimate, and I think if we bought one, when we replace that truck, we really need to see what's on the state bid website instead of buying it through a dealer, and the state changes from year to year, because you get discounts through the state proposal, you know, far more than any dealership could possibly provide, and it's a dealership that puts in on that state bid every year
Right.
that gets awarded that, and could be a Chevrolet or a Dodge, or you never know who's gonna get that state bid.
Right, you're just looking for a 3/4 ton
Yeah.
pickup. But I do think that if you used, so from kind of a worst case scenario, if there wasn't anything on the state bid site that you could buy, and we had to go to a local dealer or to a dealer, then this is what it might cost. The reason that I'm saying that is the more information that can be put on this, the more defensible it becomes when it actually comes time to have voters vote on what it is that we're gonna be funding. And so having those numbers that says, well, here's how, may not be correct, may not be 100% correct, but at least you can stand in front of the town and say, well, we took what today's cost for a brand new 3/4 ton pickup truck with plow assembly and everything else, and then we increased it by a 10% escalation factor over the next several years, or, you know, until 2029, in order to arrive at this. Will truck costs go up 10% a year? Nobody knows. But this is what they've done the last 3 years since we bought the truck. It's gone from this to this, and then you can use that as an average, perhaps, to move it forward. I know that predicting things isn't
And we're
easy.
gonna update this annually anyway.
Right.
This isn't, like, this is just to get us, you know,
Started.
a guesstimate for this year in planning, and then next year we'll update it with, you know, best we can with more accurate next year.
So we know that it costs $53,370 in 2022, correct? Is that what?
Correct.
Okay, so.
And even if we took the 80 and just divided it by the 3 and we added whatever, 27 per year, at least we're saving
Well, I
up
just
for
looked
it.
that up actually before we started. That same truck in a 2026 is now $58,000. But I don't know.
58,000, so it's about a five.
I don't know what the state bid would be.
Right, so hopefully, state bid would be lower.
Yeah.
So, but the 58 gives you kind of, I don't wanna say worst case scenario, because it's not, it's a higher cost, a higher anticipated cost. And then using that, I think, is a better metric for working forward. And like Tia said, if you wanna take the 58 and it's gone up $5,000 in 3 years, okay, so it's about $1,500 a year, a little over, say $2,000 a year on average. So then take that and use that $2,000 a year to go from 58 to 60, 62, 64, 66. About 6. So then even maybe if you think it's 66 to 68, go with 70. You know, so that it rounds it out and gives you some leeway. Because who knows, inflation could go crazy and costs could go, with tariffs and those kinds of things, costs could go through the roof
Yeah.
again.
And it's good that you put your cost to repair in there too.
That was another question I had
Yeah.
on this. So, cost of repair, that was, when we put that in there, that's like our average, you know, minor routine maintenance, repairs, state inspection, things like that. But for instance, like when we purchased this truck, the plow setup for it now is be close to $10,000
Extra
extra
on top of the cost.
on
Okay.
top of the cost of the thing, and
Okay.
you obviously, you gotta have a plow.
Yeah,
And then,
if it's a plow truck, it needs a plow.
so do you wanna add that into the total cost, you know, so add on that top of that 58,000, I know somebody just bought a plow, and it was, cost them $10,000, very similar to,
Right, so,
Yeah,
so in your cost to replace, it's 65 to, it says 65 to 80. You can take that updated and say 60 for the truck.
it's 10 for.
Today, it's 60 for the truck plus 10 for the plow assembly and, you know, installation and that kind of stuff. So taking $70,000 today and extrapolating that to 2029, which is what, 1, 2, 3, only, oh my God, it's only 4 years away. Holy mackerel. You know, and extrapolating that to 2029 to show what the cost to replace would be, I think will help. It'll be much more.
And could they put that in the description?
Um,
Just like add on the,
well, I think going in the described, summarized costs, I think it all can go in there. I mean, from my, because that's all under the cost to replace that, you know, today's current cost would be the back of the envelope number we have is $60,000 plus $10,000 for assembly, using either 10% or whatever, you know, however many percentage points or however many dollars, $2,000 a year plus figure another $1,000 a year for the plow cost to buy the plow assembly. That comes out in 2029 dollars to maybe more than $80,000. So, but then again, when, you know, for these purposes, looking at these sheets, then when we're going down and looking at the cost to replace, there's specifics in there that give the budget committee, the CIP committee, you guys in town hall, the board of selectmen, a much more robust and specific number to be able to say, okay, these are legitimate. Short of going and getting in 3 quotes, which we don't want you to do not for these things. So
Yeah.
when the time comes, yes, but
do we want them to add, to update this, or do we wanna just take this with the changes that we're making now and Joy can put it in?
well, I think the one change that we can make and then give it back to them to update, and I'm taking notes because I don't want to put words in the cost to replace when they may have to do a little more, not a lot more, but a little more digging to figure out what do we think the plow assembly is going to be in 5 years, what do we think the truck's going to be in 5 years, and let them do that piece. But at least to be able to give them an updated form to use so that it has that anticipated year of replacement in a purchase. I don't know if there's anything else that we're gonna.
And then they can fill out the annual cost. Or,
That was
oh no,
another
wait,
question I
that's,
had.
I'm sorry?
That was another question I had, was on the annual cost. How to project out a lease payment without knowing what the interest rates are.
Well, then that's the other thing you're gonna have to estimate is what a lease payment might be and put in that comment section, the summary cost, that you used a 7% interest rate for the lease cost. Right, so that way, say again?
I hope not.
No, me too. I hope not too, but I hope it's
I
down
would
like
just pay
3.
cash for it instead, yeah.
Well, if we
Right.
can, we may
Right.
not be able to afford to, depending on how many other things have to happen that year, so.
Yeah. Would that be in cost to contract? Would that be where they put the estimate?
No, I think the cost to contract, we anticipated that being like if they went to, I don't know,
A paving project kind of thing.
right, yeah, like the rent-a-paver guy or whatever it is.
Oh, I see,
Prima
okay.
Pave or something like that, I think it's called. If we contracted out the whole cost of doing whatever this is.
Okay,
I do think on these forms, there needs to be place underneath Town of Madison capital improvement cost analysis and description of improvement, we need to say what department this is from. Because a
It
2022,
should have a department drop down.
when we print the forms, it should say which department it's on. It does not print on the form when it's in the tab, but it's not on the form. So if you print them all and are using them, you know, as paper, it should say what department they're from, I believe.
Maybe department and then name of whomever's filling it out.
Yeah, if you do it electronically in Excel, there's a drop down and you can select the department from the drop down and then that will print. If you're doing it by hand, obviously you just have to handwrite the department name under department.
You're talking about this sheet.
I'm talking about these sheets.
Yeah, right, and she's talking about these sheets.
Right, we're talking about the cost analysis forms.
Yeah,
Okay, perhaps you and I can take a look at this, but again,
yeah,
because in meetings we deal with printed matter,
Yeah.
I think it's important that the form has what department it's from. And Tia's right, the name of the person who filled out the form, who put all that information in, because they're gonna be the most knowledgeable if we have questions. Not that we're not gonna go directly to the department head first, but
No, that's.
he's like, oh. Okay.
So if they were paying for it this year, they're putting it on the warrant this year, then this would be filled out. But because we would want to potentially save for it, does this still apply? Would we still put in?
Right, because if they're gonna purchase it in 2029, which is again not on the form yet, but once that is on the form, so 2029 will be the last, or potentially 2028, depending on when you anticipate purchasing it in 2029. If it's January before the meeting, then you need it to go to 2028. And then if they come up with a revised total cost here, I'm gonna say $90,000, and you really only have 3 years, then they're gonna have to put $30,000 a year in 26, 27, 28, if they intend on purchasing it in like January of 2029, so that you can get it before usually the heavy snow in February, the end of January, February. If you wanna buy it in December of 2028, you can, it still should be able to have it, you should still be able to have it, the full amount. So it would be then over 3 years of cost for whatever that total ends up being. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
Am I
makes
making sense? Do you understand what I'm saying, Joy?
yep.
Do you guys?
And one thing we need, and in thinking about how much money we need to set aside, obviously we're not gonna set aside, you know, the money for the whole thing. We're gonna, you know, look at, okay, we have trade-in, we're gonna use, I would think, at least part of the highway heavy equipment ETF for down payment possibly as well if necessary. And then anything, like if we can pay for a $10,000 plow out of like the highway heavy equipment ETF and not roll it into the financing,
Right.
we're saving financing on $10,000.
So,
would what they put into this ETF, is that what is getting added here?
no.
No.
That
that's
would
something
be,
different.
right, that's something different. So
Okay.
all of anything that comes out of, under this initial cost and funding, I think perhaps then we might need to, there could be multiple lines for sources of offset. So sources of offset could be 10,000 from the heavy highway ETF. Another source of offset could be $15,000 from trade-in. So then really all your financing or all your purchasing costs is going to be $25,000 less than the 80 or 90 that we come up with. And so really then what you're looking at is the total cost. The total cost at the end would then be, you know, the what is that, 25, 60,000, 65,000 plus whatever the interest is, and that's the number that gets split by 3 or 4, whichever it is, to go into these areas. And I'm happy to work with anybody on any of these sheets, you know, if like I don't really understand necessarily because we know what we had in our heads when we were creating these, and so it doesn't always translate directly to the sheet. So I'm more than happy to sit down with somebody and spend, you know, even a couple hours or a half afternoon or whatever, going through these and working on them and figuring out how best to represent all of the information so that it's easier to make the decisions.
That'd be great. I would
Yeah, I'm happy
love
to do that. I'm retired now, so I got time.
Maybe Dave and I, we can pick a day sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
And just in the interest of time, one other question, and it has to do with the sheet in general and on the cost to repair line. You know, on all these, we put, you know, mostly it's routine maintenance or maybe some major work we've done on them, but things like, Dave left it, it's, because it goes in a separate line, like parts line, but for instance, on the pickup truck. You know, I could give example on every single one, but like, the plow, I mean, we have to change the cutting edges on the plows, you know, those are pretty expensive. I mean, we put rubber cutting edges on it when the ground is not frozen, those are $1,200 for one cutting edge, and you're lucky if you can get a season out of them.
Right.
So we didn't put that in actual cost to repair, but should we, you know?
Well, I think if you have some of those, I mean, no matter what plow you have, you're gonna need those rubber edges,
Yeah.
right? So
And carbide,
Right.
you know, we switch back and forth depending on what the.
depending on the ground
Right,
and
yeah.
the type of snow and that kind of stuff. So I would not necessarily, because that's gonna be a cost no matter what. If
Okay.
you anticipate, like, we have 65,000 miles on this truck, we're going to need like a full maintenance kind of
Yeah.
thing. We're not just changing oil, we're not just, you know, looking at fan belts. We've got a major mechanical,
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
I think those kinds of things, if you know, you don't necessarily even have to know necessarily how much it's going to cost. Again, you can estimate, but I think those kinds of things could be in the comments because it hasn't been done yet. I think the average cost over the 3-year average cost to repair and maintain, it should say repair maintain, to repair and maintain the vehicle, and then in the describe summarized costs, make that / comments, you can put anticipate major valve repair, you know, because we'll be at 80,000 miles or, you know, one of those kinds of things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, does
that help?
Yeah.
And the idea is not to make this much more difficult for you. It's to make it, none of it's going to be easy because it's the first year we're doing it.
And yeah, right. And that was, you know, the question, like, the plow truck thing, that makes a lot of sense. But for instance, on the Volvo excavator, like this year, and we just put our maintenance, routine maintenance on that as well. But I can tell you that last year, this past year, the boom broke on it, and that was under warranty, thank God.
Right.
There was not a boom in the country, to a replacement boom in the country. They welded it, they had a professional welder come in to weld the boom up, but, you know, we still had to pay to get a truck to the Volvo dealership and back. You know, that's a repair cost. Does that go under, you know, we had to replace, it was $10,000 or $12,000 to replace the head on it, the Ancon head that swivels around, that cost $12,000. That wasn't in the repair cost.
Man.
Um,
And this is a
I feel like that's an
2019.
emergency
Yeah.
type of thing, like.
Yeah, those are unanticipated. There's no way you can
Yeah, they're
anticipate that the
unanticipated,
boom
right,
breaks.
exactly, right.
But if you
No
know, like
way.
every 2 years you have to go in, like Sharon's saying, like for a full mechanical, like kind of overhaul or something like that.
Yeah.
You know it's going to need to go to the shop. That's something you can prepare for, and then this will just help us plan for the things that we can expect, and then
Yeah.
those unexpected things, like something breaking off of your
Sure.
machine. We'd have
Hey,
to
Chief.
go into what funds do we,
Well, that's when, worst case scenario, I think some of the highway heavy, if it's something really big, the highway heavy costs, and or, there's whatever's in the reserve, but using the reserve requires a town vote.
Yeah.
But if it's something big and major,
That's.
a lot of things, if it's $10,000-$12,000, a lot of things can be looked at within, because the Board of Selectmen have the ability within the budget that they can say, okay, you know what, let's kind of put a hold on some of the supplies in different areas and see if we can't figure out where we can find $10,000 in the current budget to give to DPW to do this emergency repair for a vehicle, so.
and can we add to a fund for things like that? Can we add more to it, or because we have these bigger pieces of equipment and we know that the repairs would be more expensive if something does happen, how do we
prepare for that?
for that? Yeah.
Well, that's where some of the ETFs, EFT is electronic fund transfer, ETFs. We had this issue last night with the other night with the ABC, where some of the ETFs, like you would have to go back and look at the exact wording that was voted on by the town with the warrant article that created the highway heavy ETF. And if the highway heavy ETF is there for maintenance, repairs, replacement, whatever, then we have the ability every year to add funding to that if we anticipate or believe that we think we're gonna, we got 12 trucks and 8 of them are gonna need the major maintenance pieces this year as opposed to minor maintenance. You know how, like, even with your own car,
Yeah.
every 30,000 miles, there's a bigger maintenance piece than just every 4,000 to 6,000 miles changing your oil. There's, tire rotations and belt checks and all that kind of stuff, and it costs a lot more at that 30,000 mile. It's probably, and Dave would know, it's probably a combination of hours and miles on the vehicles because it's use dependent, some of it.
And the manufacturers all have that on the,
Yeah.
that this is when you should, at this many hours.
And
For
does,
instance, we just had our first, on the grader, we just had our first initial service, they call it, and it's a 500-hour service, and which this kind of was news to us, that they don't change the oil in the initial service.
really?
Yeah, they change all the fluids except the oil. And they came, and that was $2,200, Dave? It was $2,200 to change the fluids in the grader for that first initial service. And they didn't change the oil, so we called them and like, hey, you guys
What's
don't
up?
change the oil. I'm like, yeah, you don't change the oil in the new machines till 1,000 hours.
Oh, all right. Well, it's not like they just, we don't cover that. It's
Yeah.
more like, no, you don't need to change it till 1,000
Right.
hours, which that's good. But does iWorks help with any of that kind of regularly scheduled maintenance? Does iWorks tell you, here's the vehicles that are gonna need?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Okay.
schedule maintenance for that.
Okay, so that should help with trying to fill that part of it out for these.
It's the unexpected that is really tough to budget for, and that's why I do rely heavily on not heavily, but I didn't use any of it last year, and I tried to take it out of the budget, the budget first, and then
Right.
when I get towards the end of the year, if there was major breakdowns that happened that I had to pay for out of the budget, then I'll say, like, for instance, this year, I'm gonna ask Monday out of the ETF, we had to put a new plow frame on the front of one of our trucks that broke. It was just garbage, and that was $9,700 to put a new plow frame on, which obviously I didn't budget for. But
No, right. But then you pay for that out of your budget, but then it can hopefully get reimbursed
Yes.
through the ETF into
Correct.
the town budget. It
Yeah.
doesn't go back to your lines. You're
No.
still,
Right,
excuse the expression, screwed when it comes to
Yeah.
your numbers,
right,
but at least the money is there.
yeah.
And so, taking a look at iWorks and some of that stuff, being able to then use that to take a look at how much is in that ETF. I have the numbers with me. Anyway, how much is in that ETF and how much you anticipate, if over the last 3 years we've had this amount where we've had unexpected breakages or unexpected repairs or unexpected maintenance that had to happen.
I'll tell you that we have an unexpected breakage every single storm.
something happens.
No doubt. I mean,
I'm wondering, I'm not trying to make more work, I'm just wondering, would plows be an equipment piece that should be separate because they are much more expensive?
I don't know. I get, they
I
can't.
have them separate in my work.
You have
Have
them
them
separate
separate?
in NIWorks? Okay.
Even
But
though
you
So
don't,
we should put them separate on the CIP.
we
If they're
could,
replaced at a different interval than the actual equipment they're on,
Yeah, oh yeah,
then that should probably be a separate item.
they wear out faster than the
than the
truck.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we could break those out. And actually, while we're talking about iWork, can Dave, can you maybe just do a little description of what the rating means?
I can.
Because I see 7.9 and 43.0 in red, but then I see 21.6 in black, and I don't know if there's a significance between the red and the black.
If you,
And the higher the rating, the faster it's wearing out, or just a little bit of a description of what the iWork rating is.
I'm in iWorks right now, and I'm gonna, if you can give me just a moment, I'll bring that up. What that rating is. So, if the rating is in red, it's iWorks, design using mileage, age, repairs, and it tells you when that truck is now costing the town money to keep it. So that number turns red, and it goes from a lower number to a higher number, and I don't know what the parameters of the numbers are. It doesn't show me anything like that in iWork, but if it's in the red, they're telling you that truck is now costing the town money. If it's in the black, it's not. It's cost effective to keep the truck. But I'm having a hard time opening this up so I can give you the full parameters on that. It says it can't open the page.
Well, Dave looked at that. The other comment I had was on the main CIP detailed data sheet, where we're tracking the parts and repairs. I pulled initial numbers from the town report from 2023 and 2024, looking at columns H and I in the detailed data. And, kind of following on to this discussion of parts and repairs versus kind of ongoing maintenance. The reason behind those numbers that will help us determine how best to capture them is obviously how much is kind of along the iWork rating. All right, how much is it costing us to keep repairing this equipment? Is it, okay, 2023 it was, 1,500, and then the next year it was 5,500. Like, okay, did that 5,500 kind of take care of us for a couple of years? That was kind of a jump expense one year, but that's going to make the truck last another couple of years. So, it's the same concept as the iWork rating is, all right, how much is it costing us now versus replacing? So I don't know how to delineate like expected maintenance versus our parts and repairs. Do we roll that all in because that is simply the cost of maintaining the vehicle, or do we separate out
It is rolled all in.
unanticipated versus anticipated?
So any invoice that comes across the desk that is a repair or parts that we have bought for the vehicle gets entered on that vehicle in iWork. And all of that goes into their rating system, and they determine, mostly by the age of the vehicle, I think, is the primary one, whether that is now costing money to keep. If they see reoccurring repairs, not necessarily the same repairs, but just reoccurring repairs. I'm unable to open it on my phone. I just had it open, and I don't have a good signal or something. But I wish I had my laptop.
That's okay. If you
I can
send to us.
I can, yeah. I can send the rating. It's 5 different parameters for that, and even iWork has not been able to tell me the score range, other than lower to higher the number, the more critical it is in red to get rid of it. That makes sense.
So interestingly enough then, like something like the 2019 International Dump Truck, the Lemon.
It is, and the
It's-
truck number
but-
10 is not far away from that, so.
Right, but it's showing 21.6 in black. It
That's
could go to,
Because the age.
right, but
is-
but it's still in black. You don't know whether, it could go, because I see other ones that are like,
Yeah.
you know, higher than that, I think. No, not
Age
necessarily.
and mileage, is what's saving that
Bef-
truck right now.
but
And
there's
19's
no-
not that old,
You don't
so-
have any indication in iWork, like, you're close to going red.
No,
It doesn't tell you
No,
that.
no,
It just
doesn't.
it shows up
Just
red
goes-
one day.
Shows up red, yeah.
Well, that's kind of a,
But the chipper has an iWork rating of 7.9, but it's in red.
right, the
Which one?
chipper. The chipper. It's probably due to its age.
It's age.
It's age, yeah.
So is the chipper on
And
here?
and also, we haven't been following that machine since it was new and how much money has been put into it, but this, in the last 3 years, I know what's been put into it. So they're calling it red. But we have not put a ton of money into it either. We've had to replace the clutch on it, and then some minor repairs, tires, I think, and knives.
I feel like in parts and repairs, we should also include costs to rent a replacement if it's broken.
On the main sheet, Joy?
On the detail,
Yeah.
on the plan detail?
Yeah, don't you think if we have to, pay $4,000 to rent a chipper, or whatever, because ours was down for that week, I feel like we should probably include that in parts and repairs because that's a cost, an unanticipated cost to do the work required by that machine.
Yeah, because we could always put a comment on that box that says, I'm gonna make up a number, that the $16,000 for parts and repairs for this year is $4,000 in parts and repairs and $12,000 in rental costs. Again, making up numbers completely. Rental costs due to the equipment being non-functional or something. There can be comments put in those blocks that explain that number so that people don't look at it and go, oh, $16,000 to repair a wood chipper? What? What is that all about? $67,000 in parts and repairs for the 2008 Peterbilt dump truck. There's maybe a comment that needs to get put in there, like, yeah, $30,000 of that was a brand new transmission or something. So, and that'll help. Again, without cluttering up the table too much, it'll help understand what makes up those numbers. So that if we have questions and we click on it, it's like, oh, okay, now I see. I don't have to call or ask or do whatever. Again, and I can show you guys how to do that. It's very easy. But I agree, so that if you have to rent a piece of equipment to replace something that's non-functioning, then that should be reflected in here.
I don't know which way you wanna go on that, but I know Joe Dane I thought it was a great analysis on that chipper last year. I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw that yet. I don't have a problem with that at all. The only issue that I had with that, well, like Dave mentioned, not even having that on the CIP, that chipper there, it will last quite a while. You never know when a major catastrophic breakdown's gonna come on, but there are a lot out there to rent, except when you really, really need one.
Because everybody else needs
Because
it.
everybody else is renting them. And that's so, you didn't want to put that on the CIP, that'd be totally fine with me. And like I said, his analysis made complete sense to me. To buy one it doesn't really make any sense to buy one, but
Okay, so I'm actually.
that's my opinion, you know.
Well, you're the department head, so I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And I had looked at it and thought, well, how many weeks per year do we actually use a wood chipper? And if you're using a wood chipper, generally it's not an emergency. It's you got to get stuff off the road,
Right.
so you got to get the trucks out there to cut it up, and then just throw it off the side of the road. But you could go back a month later and pick that stuff up and chip it. It doesn't, or you could pick it up then and stack it somewhere and then chip it.
We've been doing that a lot.
I bet.
Because it's hard because there's so many houses now, so you really don't want to chip brush onto people's lawn
Lawns, yeah.
and things like that, so
Yeah.
we'll pick
They
it up.
tend to get a little
Yeah.
irritated.
So on the rating that I'm using truck 14 and they have it 29.8 in the red. The fleet rating is the age, the activity, the usage, the cost, and the condition.
Does it break it down underneath those different?
Just gives you a score.
It just gives you one total score. So it's not like most of that score is due. I wish iWork did that. Most of that score is due to its age. A little bit of it is due to its condition.
Activity and usage is what is, age, activity, and usage is what's killing it.
The truck.
The truck, yeah. Although, in my opinion, that truck is, it's the big wheeler dump truck. We do plow with it. It's got 70,000 miles on it now, and it's in very good condition. But because of the age, they're putting it into the red.
And
Because
that's
it's
the 29.8.
So we
Yeah,
can't
the
put a lot of
29.8.
weight into that. I kind of disagree in thinking we have to get rid of that right now, but we do.
Well, you do have it on here as the year to replace is 2030.
That's 14, so it's 10 years old now.
Right. It's
Yeah.
11 basically. 2014 and 2025.
So the iWork rating is a factor. It's not the end all be all.
It's not the end all be all,
thing
but
to
it
rely on
gives
because we
you
don't
something
have,
to
we don't.
work. Right, it gives you something to work on.
It's not trust it completely, but it's not our only determining factor. Then we also have the
Right.
parts and repairs and
Right,
You guys
rental,
using it, like
you know,
your experience.
going into the parts and repairs. It's not the end all. It's a factor that helps us kind of flag and look at whatever that is more closely. And then, okay, it's red. Let's look at all the factors. How much is it costing us otherwise, and how long do we think looking at the truck in person does it have? And then that helps us say, okay, we are making that a priority one. Okay, no, we're going to make that a priority 2 in 2030.
Right.
So it's a factor, but it's not the end all be all.
Right. Joy, if I might, can I also ask when you go in to put in the anticipated year of replacement purchase, can you put on the left-hand side somewhere what CIP line, probably up in the beginning in the description of improvement or whatever, right to the left of the fiscal year start, what CIP line it corresponds to, so that they can say, truck 1, the 2022 Chevy Silverado pickup is line number 21 on the CIP.
Yeah, just jot those things down that you want me to modify.
Yeah, I'm writing it down now. I'm writing it on the
Okay.
actual sheet, so that.
Okay.
And with DPW especially, and maybe fire, because they have quite a few,
Pieces of equipment.
yeah, and trucks and things, do we let them rank it themselves too? Like, this would be priority?
Oh, yeah,
We
absolutely.
give Okay.
Yeah, we ask for that input from them because they're the ones using the equipment. They know best. Like, it's on its last leg. We're bubble gumming it together.
Yeah.
We're keeping it moving, but it.
Duct tape and paper clips.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So yeah, so the priority does come from them with regard to the actual replacement type of high, medium, low, ASAP. I see. That comes from them as to where they delineate that piece of equipment needs to be replaced or something done with it.
Is that helpful?
So,
Is that
so
helpful
for
for you
this,
guys?
Beth,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then-
Go ahead, Joy.
Oh, yeah, so for like wood chipper, now it sounds like we're gonna, keep by work rating in, I guess, but it looks like we're gonna change priorities to kind of like a 0, and year to replace, we can just put rent, right, and then
Well-
purchase price to 0 for now.
Before we do that, I'd like to see Joe update that analysis so that we recognize that it's still valid. I think he sent me the one from last year a couple weeks ago for the ABC to take a look at, and I'll ask him to go back and update that. And if it makes sense from a financial standpoint and a utility standpoint, because it's got to work for you guys too. I mean, I know one of the issues with the grader was that when you need one, there isn't always one available, or wasn't always one available, and that started to weigh more heavily in the determination process than the cost of it. So
But
to
there's
speak.
ways around that, with the chipper, there's ways
With the
around that,
right.
right, yeah. There's a lot, first of all, there's a lot more chippers to rent. We ended up, when we had that bad storm at the end of last year, we ended up renting a couple, they were a little bit more money than they were at Coleman's or MB.
Right.
But, we ended up going all the way up to Bartlett to rent one at Lucy's, but we needed one, and that's what we did during that time frame. Was we just stacked it up on the side of the road
And go back.
and go back and
Right.
got it.
So maybe if in helping Joe, if you could pull out from last year, if you could pull out those costs, not just the cost to rent it, but the transportation to go up there and get that, and the man hours. If we have to go up to Lucy, that's an hour trip there and an hour trip back. So it's 2 hours of 2 hours of labor to go get it. Whereas if we had one here, it's 5 minutes to go over and start it, kind of thing. So because all those numbers, I mean, we can't just look at the cost of the equipment, because there are man hours devoted to getting that equipment. If they deliver it, if there's a $150 delivery charge and then $150 pickup charge kind of thing, all those things need to go into the actual analysis of, does it make sense to buy one? Does it make sense to rent one? Or does it make sense to, hey, a Splenda or whatever however you say their name, do they contract out? We've got a bunch of trees down.
Oh, yeah.
Can we contract you guys to come chip it all up? I don't know what we do with the chips after
Well, if they can go in the woods, they go in the woods. If not, we put them all back.
put them out back and just let them sit.
People come and ask for them all for different things. and
Yeah.
They can help.
Yeah.
Actually, Asplund will dump chips here.
Did they
Other
really?
tree company- They do. They'll ask from time to time.
Yeah.
There's a huge pile of chips out back. We'll use it for, different things, different times.
Yeah.
There's not really much you can do with them.
No, right. All right, do we have any other questions for these? Because I think us sitting down and going through this and
Yeah.
helping you and working through will, especially with an updated sheet, will actually yield more and better information.
The only other couple, Dave, if you've got some more questions you can ask. The only other question I had, I guess it's not really a question, but the thing I would like to keep on here is the sand salt shed, and we're hearing about that more and more. And I guess that would really be more of a selectman issue, but we really, dust control shed and the salt shed,
Right.
their
Line 30,
state is really harping on,
getting
and
that
it was,
stuff
but
under
they
control.
were before COVID, and we were talking about it, and now they're harping on, starting on it again. With the salt being exposed, it's, leaching into the ground, and with the sand, it's the silica, going into the air. But that's, I know, Freedom just put one in, that was 2 or 3 years ago, it's, $500,000. They're not cheap. It's something we really, and we've investigated trying to go on the lower end side, and we do like a Quonset hut tent thing. They have a life expectancy of about 15 years, which you're lucky if you get that out of it. Those were like, what, 150,000, 160,000, that's just for the tent, and then you still gotta pay to put it up, you still needs a foundation and
Cement
base
foundation,
and,
right.
things like that, so, I think,
But no matter what we put up, it's gonna need that cement foundation
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's sort of when you're doing one of these
Yeah.
for that, that's a fixed cost.
yeah,
It has to have that no matter what we do. And so putting that into the, I mean, you could even maybe make it two different items. One is the base or foundation or whatever you wanna call it, and then the other is the structure. That way you can see the difference between the two costs, because we'd always do the base in one year and the structure the next kind of
Yeah.
thing. So that it balances out a bit, if it makes sense to do that. If it doesn't make sense to do that, then,
Well, yeah, and we try to do as much of the work as we could in-house, without hiring.
right,
Obviously, we can't put up the structure.
no, but you might be able to do the base and
Yeah,
just
definitely.
contract with Coleman to get the concrete down here. If that's what it goes on, I don't even know, I'm just
Yeah,
presuming.
some
for-
do it that way, some do it with the big blocks, the yard blocks and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
What about a rubber, barrier? Like just the thick rubber sheets that go on the ground, and then all the salt and sand or whatever goes on top of that, cause it doesn't then leach into the ground. I don't know how much that costs, I don't know.
I've never heard of any, I've never seen anything.
I don't know, just something to
It
consider.
would have to be covered with gravel or something, because the bucket would just rip it off,
Yeah,
but,
Oh,
What does
yeah.
Idlewise use? Do they?
they have a shed,
yeah.
They have a,
that right as you go up Idlewise Drive.
Yeah.
On the left-hand side, they got it's small,
Oh, yeah.
obviously, because they don't have a lot of stuff, and, they can go right to Coleman's, and,
right, that's pretty.
they're right down the street. We can go right down to Coleman's, but we make our own sand.
Okay.
Make our
Um,
own
Salt is
salt,
incredibly expensive.
yeah, I saw that on the detailed drawdown, that it's gone up a lot.
Yeah. It goes up every year, $5-6 a ton.
Unbelievable. The last one
Yeah,
on
so
here,
that's,
oh,
yeah, so obviously that's if we need that sooner than later, then we should definitely get one of those cost analysis forms running,
yes,
up and running, start kind of pricing it out. Even for estimates, even if you just call at least two places, so we're not getting just, one person. It just seems that the price of stuff, whether it's a foundation for a pantry building or anything, it just seems the price is varying widely between vendors these days.
Yeah.
So I would say at least just kind of two guesstimates. So we have a good idea of stuff, but yeah, definitely get that form and that process going so we can add that project as soon as possible.
yeah, and I suggest, I don't know if you're comfortable with it doing it in, not doing it in two pieces, but having it being two estimates, one for the structure and then one for the pad, because the pad or whatever you decide to do is probably, no matter what you put up above it, you're gonna need it to be, I don't know, 40 by 40 or whatever size it needs to be. So that can be kind of a fixed cost, that's what it's gonna cost. And then whatever, here's the three estimates or two estimates for the different structures that can go over the top of it. So that you can then sort of pick and choose whatever needs to be done.
Yep.
I think that we should investigate and see if there's any grants available.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I'm a happy person when we mention the word grant, because then that's money, obviously it's federal tax dollars, so you are paying for it in the long run, but it's spread out across the entire country as opposed to just the town of Madison. So when we can get federal grants to do something, I
guess on that
think it's
note,
important.
Do you mind if you take a few minutes to explain the truck grant?
I personally don't know much about the truck grant. Joy does. She could probably explain that. Joy?
No, I.
Oh, you want to
yeah.
explain it? Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Can I just, before I get off, I just
Sure,
have
yeah.
one question. I started doing this, I enabled the editing so that I could just punch it in on my computer and fill out all these fields. Which is fine, but then I realized that, God, I'm gonna have a lot of files, because once you finish one, you get to save it to a file. I don't know how to compress them all together, but is there an email address that we can send them to? Where, once I've completed one of these,
Yeah, you can send it to me.
and instead of having them all handwritten and making 5 copies of,
Right.
Yeah,
so what would that be?
Tia Marie Gagnon @gmail.
Marie,
Yep.
I-E,
Yep. And Gagnon.
G-A-G-N-O-N,
Gagnon. Yep.
at where?
Gmail.
Gmail.
Our fearless leader.
Yeah, send those to me. I'm wondering if,
You could probably copy them to Linda.
no,
No?
not Linda, but Joy, what's your email? Selectman Joy?
Selectman Gray at Madison-NH, or whatever.
Selectman Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gray.
Sorry, E or A,
A.
at madison-nh.org.
Yes. And then one of you can forward it to me
Okay.
for committee considerations.
That's all I.
Perfect.
The truck grant?
Yeah, no.
So, this was a grant that we applied for, this summer. It was, the whole grant was, through the Volkswagen Environmental Mitigation Trust Funds. That's where it's funded by. Do you guys remember that back, I don't know, a few years back? Volkswagen got in big trouble because they were fiddling with the emissions,
Yeah.
and they got billions and billions of dollars in fines. And I just thought the fines went to the federal government, but apparently they went out to the states to fund this emissions program, and it's to reduce emissions for municipalities and different. So we applied for the grant. Linda and I put it together as quick as we could because it was on pretty short notice, and put it together. And the way it started out, they list every town in the state of New Hampshire, and it depended on supposedly your income. The first, actually the lowest, I don't know how to put this, the top 50 towns, I guess the lowest earning towns or valued towns in the state of New Hampshire started out automatically with 10 points.
Okay.
And the second lowest are towns started out automatically with, 50 towns started out with an automatic 5 points. Madison wasn't even on the top 100 towns, which I can't believe, when
Really?
Wolfboro was and Freedom was, and apparently we're worth more money than Wolfboro and Freedom. But,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
So we started out with 0 points. But we applied. I honestly didn't think we had a chance just based on that, the criteria of it. But we applied and we got awarded the grant, as well as we had to pick out a truck. We had 2 trucks that were eligible for the grant based on the different criteria they gave us to. It was our truck 11, both our Peterbilts, truck 11 and truck 12, right? Truck 11 and truck 12. We picked truck 11, which is our truck 12, which 11, which is the oldest and really needs to be replaced. And to replace it with an all-wheel drive truck, and it was really a truck that we really need to plow in the hills with, so we wanted the all-wheel drive,
Yeah.
4-wheel drive. We picked that truck out, and the only ones that make them all-wheel drive truck now, a all-wheel drive 6-wheeler, our Mack is the only one that makes it. And then you would add it on the cost of setup onto the truck, and if you get awarded the grant, you get 70% back of the purchase price. So when the grants came out, like I said, it was a score of 0 to 100, and I think there was 15 towns or 18 towns that got awarded the grant. We scored the highest.
Wow.
We got a score of 92. Fitzwilliam got an 89, Epping got an 87, Hampton, New Hampton got an 83, I can go all the way down. Mount Washington Auto Road actually got $61,000 grant, but we got $255,000.44, which is 70% of the purchase price towards the new truck that we're gonna be purchasing. Well, we'd like to, it's gotta go to town meeting. This truck has to be in service by December 31st of 2026. Or we lose it.
Okay.
Little snafu we got going on right now, so talked to Mac, talked to the day after we got awarded, I went to Governor and Council a couple weeks ago, and that was the final step through Governor and Council, and they got approved. We need to raise and appropriate the entire amount of money at town meeting, and then we get reimbursed. through the grant. We get reimbursed $255,000, so we still have to pay $109,000, I think, for the truck. The truck itself, the cab and chassis, is $228,775,000, and I've already gotten 3 quotes from 3 different places. For setup, plows, wings, sanders, bodies, all that sort of stuff. They range between 130 and 155.
So is that on top of the 275?
Yeah, on top of the 228.75, 228,000. So you can say 229,000 for the Mack,
truck,
for the truck, and then an additional
130, say?
between 130 and 100. And I got the quotes right here. So 142 for one of them. They were 140. The lowest one was HP Fairfield in 145 for Allied equipment. HP Fairfield was in the 130.
All right, so let's just
Something.
call it 140 then on average. So
Yeah.
you're looking at $370,000,
Yeah, about.
370K, and we'll get 70% of that. We'll
Yeah.
get 255.
And it was capped at, yeah, because it went by the numbers that we applied for, we put in
Submitted.
the original, that we had submitted. That was last year, just the numbers changing from,
Right.
and that's, we actually went with the setup of the truck that we'd got a couple years ago, the Western Star. We went off that price for the setup, because that number might even change before next year, obviously, because that's with the tariff, like you said, the market and the tariffs and all that.
Right. Do you have time, do we, the town, do we have time that if this waits until a warrant article at town hall and the vote happens in March?
That's the
that-
snafu that we're running into, and I've called, I called Mack, the deal, O'Connor GMC, Connor, the dealership that sells the Macks. I called them, and I said, what are the chances? I said, so our town meeting is in March. If we order the truck to, the day after town meeting, when do we expect to get it? I said, because this grant is no good after December 31st, 2026. We don't get our, the truck has to be up and going. I mean, it has to be set up, the
Yeah,
body
you
has
gotta
to
be
be on
running
it
it.
and all this
It's gotta
stuff.
be here.
Right, it's gotta be here on the road, ready to work. And we have to take the truck that we're trading in, that we have to film it, we have to drill a hole in the block and cut
Oh,
the
great.
axle in half.
I remember Joe saying something about
Yeah.
that. Or actually Jake, it was Jake Bowie.
Yeah, so, they said, if you order the truck in March, you should have it by October or November, of December 31st, 2026. And we're like, and at first I'm initially thinking, okay, you should have it.
Should.
Well, setup takes about 3 to 4 months.
So from,
Okay.
so,
But we have to talk to, does the state, I don't know, I don't think it goes up to the executive council, but whatever part of the state is funding that, I think it's the
DES.
DES, yeah. So, talk to the people who are giving us the grant and say, all right, so all, whatever 10 towns of us who got this grant, our town meetings are in March or May, and, the likelihood of all of us getting our trucks and being on the road by December 31st is looking grim. They may say, yeah, okay, we can see that. Yeah, of course, that's the case for all of you, so they may extend it, 2 months or say, as long as you have it ordered and you're in the process of outfitting it,
We did that. We emailed, Linda emailed DES, and they said, there's some things maybe you could do, but no, you gotta figure it out.
so I was gonna say, backup plan, is there a way to call for a special town meeting to
I
authorize
guess
the
there's
purchase?
ways, they said it happens a lot, that these towns that get these grants, that happens a lot, and that she said that the selectmen have to do something. I don't know what that something is.
I would think, call a special town meeting.
Could be, I don't know.
Do they
Joy,
name any other towns who have done that in the past, or
I
do we
didn't
just
get the email.
contact the town administrators of the other towns who also got approved?
Yeah, I didn't see that, so.
I think that's a selectman call to decide, call the other towns, see what they're doing, how they're going about it, but I think I mean, Madison needs to have its own plan for how it's gonna handle this in order to meet that. So if you need 3 to 4 months for setup, that means that we have to receive that truck by August, September
Yeah,
at
like
the
we would need
latest.
to order that like now
Yeah,
to get it. Yeah.
right, which means we would need a special meeting.
Yeah, if we can get
Fairly quickly.
some sort of extension or something, yeah, I don't know what to do. But
It needs to be ordered now.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
whatever we do, it has to be done fairly soon,
Mhm.
so that it gives time for Mac and then the other, whatever company's gonna put plows and things on it, so.
she did say that, some company, and maybe, and like I said, I would think that would be a selectman call, but, some towns will talk to the dealership. Would you be willing to, order this,
On
knowing
some-
that it's, but I mean, with a grant, I mean, you're gonna get your money.
Right,
Um,
especially with a truck, you know that,
yeah.
well, 255 could go to purchase, it would be more than covering the cost of the
The
truck.
truck,
The truck
exactly.
has to be up and running.
Yeah.
The truck does not have to be up and running with the plow or all that other kind of stuff, right?
I think the way that, I'll have to read the grant again, but the way I understood, it has to be in use,
Yeah, but can we use the truck without the plow and without the, I mean, the truck can be used, right? It has a dump body to it?
No,
or
it doesn't.
it has,
No,
what-
that
Truck
doesn't.
is, cabin chassis
Yeah.
is the truck. You have to put the dump body and the plows on it.
hmm,
Can you go to the select board on Monday and ask for the meeting?
I think Linda's gonna talk about it on Monday, yeah.
you need to go too.
I think I'm gonna be there anyways to go over my budget, yeah.
Okay, so that you can answer any questions and explain. I mean, for those purposes, I'm just an ordinary citizen,
Yeah.
but, to have the $255,000 grant awarded and then to lose it would be a travesty.
Yeah.
So, cause we know we need the truck, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a 2005. Yeah, it's 20 years old. So, and to have won the grant and then not be able to, just because of a timing issue.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, there's ways around, I don't think it's the end of the world, I think there's ways around it, so, I hope,
Well, that's where I think the
Yeah.
phone calls need to happen.
Yeah.
Like, what's today? Today's Thursday? Today and tomorrow, so that for Monday or Monday morning, so that for Monday afternoon's meeting, there's at least like, yes, I made the phone call, I'm waiting on a response, here's what I wanna ask them, that kind of stuff. And whoever is doing that, whether it's Linda or you guys or the selectmen or whatever, and then the plan, who's gonna contact, if you're gonna contact other towns, which towns do you wanna contact to figure out how they're handling this, if they have any other, and does the state have any, like, well, here's what other towns can do, here's what other towns
Yeah.
have done, here's
And
what.
I know it's been done with other trucks, and she did explain to Linda, the lady from DES, about, what other towns have done or possibly done.
Okay.
I was listening, but not.
But not, it's like she's processing, I don't need to
Yeah, right,
process.
right. So, and some of the grants, that awarded, they're not all trucks and chassis, so I mean, if you were buying, say, a backhoe or something,
Right.
taking a backhoe, and it was for all clean diesels, it could have been generators, anything that was diesel. And, so, those things you can get fairly, don't take, if you
You
wait
don't-
for town meeting, you might not have to wait to get it set up and all that
Right.
sort of stuff.
Right.
So I don't know what each person got, it just gives a dollar figure.
Is that, well, and I think part of that conversation then that you, like you said, is talking to the Mack dealership and seeing if they'll order the truck now
Right.
based on the fact that you did receive the $255,000 grant.
And believe it or not, we're actually, I don't know who is gonna be going up there, one of us is gonna be going up there on Monday, cause they're gonna start working on those lemons that we can't get fixed.
The Mack guys are, or?
Yeah, they're not only a Mack dealership, they work on internationals and
Western Stars.
Western Stars
Okay.
and,
But that's where you're going, is up to the Mack dealership, okay. Yeah, maybe have a conversation with them when you're up
it's
there.
in Southmoreland, Scarborough?
Scarborough. Okay,
That's
anything
great
else?
that you guys went out for that grant and
Yeah.
got that.
It was
That's-
amazing.
that's
On a
amazing, yeah.
side note, there's something that I don't think that's been discussed a lot, and it's really not anything to do with what we're talking about here today, but when we're setting up these trucks, we have 2 trucks that we've set up. Truck 9, the new green Western Star, and truck 12, the other Peterbilt. We put new dump bodies on those, and they're stainless steel dump bodies. And we've done that, it's a little bit more money, but the reason we did that is those bodies will come off and go on the next new truck. We won't have
They'll
to buy
last a
them
lot
again.
longer.
They last a
Oh,
lot
that's
longer.
That was
We
a
had-
smart investment doing
It
that.
was, the body that was on truck 12, the old Peterbilt, was rotted completely through. So last year, we put that new stainless steel body on, but that's gonna save a considerable amount of money down the
Those are
road.
$90,000, you know,
Yeah.
opposed to, you know, that you won't have to, you know, you still have to have a company take them off and put them on the new truck, but it's a, you know,
But it's a
the
much
original,
lower
they were
cost.
$90,000 when we bought them, so they're probably over 100 now, so.
Right, right.
How many more years do you get out of them, like by having the steel?
Technically stainless steel, they should last forever.
Yeah,
You know,
Should
barring-
last longer than we do.
Yeah.
alright.
That's for sure.
And how many trucks now have the stainless steel?
We have 2 trucks.
Two trucks.
Two? Of how many? I don't even know how many trucks you guys have.
Well, this, if we get this new
10.
Mack, that'll have a stainless steel body on it, it puts us up to 3. The Kenworth Wheeler does not, that has a steel body, and that's showing signs
Yeah.
of rotting. Then we have the 2 small dump trucks, one has a stainless steel body on that, and the other one has a steel body.
Is there an opportunity for some of the ones like the Kenworth, that's a 2014 truck, right? That's what it looks like it says.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so if the truck itself is doing well, and really what we need to do, the bigger urgent need on, because that's number 14, is to replace the dump body.
Yeah.
Replacing the dump body in the next year or 2, and then 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line, replace the truck
Right.
itself and move that dump body. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah,
It would make sense.
it's not, it did makes 100,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's not an urgent need right now, and I don't know when it's gonna be.
Well, it's showing signs, but
Yes.
it's not,
Well,
any
This one's
urgent.
the red 29.8, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
truck number
Yeah.
14.
That's where I come, and I'm not quite sure why, other than the age of the truck, it's going into the red, because the truck, like I
It's in good
said, it's
shape.
got 70,000 miles on it.
And
It's
it's
a 10-wheel
working.
dump truck, and they're not cheap, and it's in great condition. Yeah, we do plow with it, but basically the same driver. Well, Billy Chick, when the truck was new, was the driver of it, and then I think when I came here, I plowed with it, and then now Billy's back in the truck, so it's pretty much had the same driver. It's kind of like the roll-off truck. I'm pretty much the only one that drives the truck. It does make a difference,
Well,
I
'cause-
think, but that's my
Maintenance.
personal. You know, when you have a,
Well, it's like a rental vehicle, when you have 50,000 different drivers in a year on it, it's different than if I had a
Yes,
rental
yeah.
vehicle or a leased vehicle in my driveway and I'm the only one driving it.
Are you saying you're a better driver?
no.
Yeah.
Not at all, no.
And the other thing that we take into consideration with the stainless steel bodies is those bodies are what they call airflow bodies. So we don't have to purchase a sander for those bodies, or a spreader. So spreaders are kind of going by the wayside, if you'll notice on a lot of trucks, especially municipal trucks, because they are stainless, usually most of them are stainless steel already, but you can sand and salt.
Right out of the truck.
Right out of the truck.
Oh, okay.
They got chains in them, and, you know, they have summer setups and winter setups.
Okay.
That being said, I really don't want to change the body on 14 to one of those airflow bodies, because it's nice to have one truck that doesn't have that in it, because it's really hard to dig out of
With a machine.
with a machine. In the summertime, like when you're picking boulders and rocks, because those stainless steel bodies, because they are sanders in themselves, they have little tabs and stuff on them, and you drop big rocks on them and bend those plates and things that are inside when you're carrying gravel or hauling rocks or riprap or stone like that. you know, those are precisely put, you know, and when they get bent, and you have to put the screens back on the,
Yeah.
I can show you sometime to explain it to you. So that's why the body, I would like, it'd be nice to have one truck that's
still the old,
still the old style
Regular
that we
steel.
can dig out of and dig and dump into without having to worry about breaking something inside the truck.
okay. I mean, that makes sense. And that would probably like look at which trucks have which body and which one makes sense to keep as the,
You can still get a stainless steel body for it. It just, you don't want one of those airflow bodies.
okay. All right, anything else? Joy, do you have anything?
Nope, it just sounds like, Dave's gonna go back, or Dave and Josh are gonna go back and kind of update
Not
this
today.
one more time.
Yeah, no, not today,
That-
not today.
Yes, we'll work on it.
Not
Yes,
today.
our next meeting is like the 18th or 20th, the 20th, what's our next meeting? It's at the bottom of the,
Oh, the 20th.
the 20th. Okay, so if we could have it by the 20th, do you think?
Do you want to meet up sometime
Yes,
before then?
yeah, I definitely wanna, and sooner I think is better than later. That way it gives you guys plenty of time to be working on stuff, and so,
Yeah, I've got some work entries to make it more accurate.
do you want to next week sometime?
Sure.
Monday I'm good, Tuesday's not so good.
Tuesday, we're not working.
Yeah, Tuesday's Veterans Day.
Yeah, oh, you guys are off, right?
It'd be
Um,
better towards the end.
Wednesday I'm good, Thursday I'm good, Friday I'm good, so Monday, yeah, any day next week, you pick.
Wednesday?
In the morning, we'll do it in the morning,
Yeah.
like 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
It'll give you time to get in, get settled, and,
Yeah.
okay. Wednesday, 9 AM.
Right at the garage or?
Yeah, I'll meet you.
Yeah,
You
right
want me to
here
meet
or
you
the
there?
garage or wherever, yeah.
Wherever you have access to a computer.
I
and-
work, would it be better over the garage, because I work right on the computer there. so.
Okay,
Or I can
Wednesday.
hook my computer right up to the TV if that helps.
if you wanna do that, we can meet here.
That sounds pretty complicated, Dave.
So here or over there?
Wait, I'm on vacation next.
You are?
No.
Oh.
All of a sudden. Alright,
Over
well,
there,
thank you
we'll do it
guys.
over there.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, in the garage.
then we got all that stuff. Here, so yeah, 9 o'clock on Wednesday.
All right,
9 o'clock,
awesome.
I'll see
Thank
you
you
then.
All
guys.
set.
Thank
Thank
you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a lot of work.
Thank
This
you
is a lot
guys.
of work. Yep, yeah, they're headed upstairs.
Okay.
Okay.
That's like the bulk of it though, so.
Right, yeah, they have, I think, the largest part. Do we have any time when others, you know, like maybe the fire department or the police department are coming to meet with us to do the same thing, or?
They didn't say that they needed to come in. They did give us their information though.
Okay.
I printed it out. It's kind of small. But fire was the bigger one, and then from police, it was just the cruiser.
Just the,
That
just the
was-
cruiser, that's the only thing?
Yeah.
Police
The
department.
cruiser confused me, actually. I do want to follow up with Chief, because I think,
He's in, you want me to knock on the door and see if he has a moment?
sure, if he has a moment.
Yeah. I'll go knock on the door, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Definitely, I can try that. Sure. Yep. Definitely.
You don't need to be on that?
Just a.
Oh, okay. Okay. I have Chief Hayford.
Hey, Chief.
Oh, hi, Joy.
She is out on a medical issue, so
Oh,
she's not
gosh.
able to join us
Okay.
in
I'll be
person
there.
today.
We still need her though, so
Yeah.
we had to get her to call in.
Right.
Like, what are we doing here
Phone
without
calls
Joy?
and Zoom are the new way.
No kidding. Yeah, I asked just as an aside, I've asked the PEG people to take a look at what it takes to upgrade the system so that between the cameras and the television and Zoom and that kind of stuff, that it's a little more integrated and easier instead of Linda having to come down and attach a laptop to the television.
Yeah.
It's like, but I don't know what that costs. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully between Peg and the Board of Selectmen and Linda, they can figure that out
Yeah.
and see if it's a little bit easier. Because it feels like it's getting more and more common to have a member or somebody need to Zoom in. So.
Right.
Anyway, Joy, you want to ask him what you said you had questions about the cruiser?
Yeah, I think on the sheet that Linda was kind enough to print out in front of you guys under the police department, I think I highlighted my question. I think that the cruisers, I think some of them were still like on a lease out to 2030 or something, and we're anticipating now a replacement date of 2027, something along those lines.
Yeah, so I'll say I tried to figure that. I am not totally familiar with those spreadsheets, and I just tried to analyze it myself to see. So I might have misentered some information, but that 2027 cruiser replacement, it was in anticipation of replacing the Dodge Charger, which that'll be the 8-year mark for that cruiser. So that number is in anticipation of replacing that car.
Okay.
Right.
It'll be paid off at that point.
Yeah, because
Oh, it's already,
it says 5 years through 2025, so it should be paid off this year.
that sounds about right.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but
All right, stay with the other two then? The next two guys?
The next two, yeah, a 2021 Chevy Tahoe Cruiser, 5 years. It shows 5 years through 3032. But if it was bought in 2021,
Yeah,
that's 11 years. And then it has a replacement in 2029. Which
I don't
2029
know.
would be before 2032.
Yeah, I feel like those cars were bought outright. I don't think we had any. I don't think those were on a lease at all.
The 2021.
The 21 and the 22, those were bought in like the same year during COVID. Yep.
I have the detailed drawdown with me. And maybe I can look under,
Notes due.
yeah, oh, is it, yes. Where is that? Ooh. Supplies, posted, notices. Solid waste, wages, summer camp, technology, field trips. It would be under police, right? Should be under police notes due.
No, it would be under notes due, all of the leases.
Oh, we're all under that one
Sure.
category.
Yeah,
And where is that? Ambulance.
should be under N.
Yeah, I'm looking.
It's seriously, I think it's its own line alphabetically,
General
under N,
government.
I believe.
Yeah, but we're still in general government, highways, road improvements, insurance, legal, TKL. Programs. Notes and leases.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all of them. It looks like are DPW trucks. Western Star 4700, Western Star 4700. There's actually, I guess, only 3. They made 2 payments. One at the very beginning of the month, one at the end of the month, and then a DPW pickup, and then the Mack MD 742 remount. Why isn't the grader on there?
That's the other thing, is they're paid some of them are paid once per year.
Yeah,
So
but it's,
we want to make sure
it's
that.
November. We didn't,
I'm just,
oh, maybe no, because we only voted on it at this town meeting, and I think the initial payment had this year's lease payment in it, and so we wouldn't see another lease payment until next year. So you don't have any vehicles?
I don't. Yeah,
Any
I can
vehicles.
double check with Linda, but I don't believe that. I believe those two 2021 and the 2022 Tahoes are both paid off.
And the Charger has no.
And the Charger, that should have been paid off years
Long
ago.
time ago.
Yeah, yep. And you know what's odd
Okay,
is
so
those.
the,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joy.
yeah, so I just need to, we need to find that out and update, not the information you just provided, but the information that's in there about 5-year lease. So that's the part that needs to be updated. Okay.
Okay.
Well, the 5-year lease through 2025 might make sense if, while we bought it in 2019, we didn't start paying on it until like the beginning of 2020 or something.
Yeah.
So then it would, but it might be paid off as of this point in 2025. But the 2021 vehicle through 2032, 5-year lease through 2032 does not make sense. We did not get that vehicle until 2022, so that 5-year lease should be 2027. And then look to replace it in 2029. That's what,
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we're trying to push these out to 8 years.
okay. And then the 2022 Tahoe Cruiser, that doesn't have, it doesn't say
When should they
anything.
be replaced though?
Say again?
When should they be replaced?
Well, there was. This is the kind of a new. It's a new approach to how we cycle these vehicles through, because forever we had 3 cars between 4 officers, and some of them were on the road basically 2 shifts a day, 7 days a week. So in 6 years, you could get a cruiser up to 130 miles, 130,000 miles, to the point where you're just keeping it together until you could replace it. Now, where every officer has their own car, we're hoping that individuals running the car just 1 shift every 4 days a week, 5 days a week, maybe we can extend the life out to 8 years rather than beating on them 20 hours a day. It seems like we can get there, because right now that Dodge Charger, I essentially had it for the first 5 years of its life, and kept the miles down. The maintenance costs were down. We ran into a couple issues which were manageable, and now right now we're at 6 years. This car has 90,000 miles on it, so I'm hoping with obviously some expected breakdowns. I just got it inspected the last month, and I have to bring it back to have I think it's just a strut. So hopefully it's just that. But yeah, I would think that just one officer operating these things for 8 years is going to be manageable. We'll keep it under that 125,000 mile is kind of the point where we start to get a little concerned with the miles, but also like how many hours are on these engines.
Yeah, because while they might not be
Yeah.
driving, they're sitting
they're
idling.
sitting in the wintertime just in a snowstorm idling. Anyways, so yeah, 8 years is.
So this
That's
only shows,
max.
I'm sorry, this only shows the 3 vehicles, the 19, the 21, and the 22. Do we have the 4th vehicle yet?
Yep, so the 2025 Tahoe, that's on the road
Okay,
now. Yep.
that's- Yeah, that needs to be added to here. 2025 Tahoe Cruiser. And it was purchased in 2025. And that was a
Right.
7-year lease or 5-year lease?
I want to say that was just a 5-year lease as well. Yep.
So that would go to 2030. Okay, yeah, so Joy, can we add a line after line number 81?
Yep.
After and put in the 2025 Chevy Tahoe Cruiser? Do you know the license plate number on that? Is that
Yep,
222 dash
I think it's 222-3.
3? Because I
Yep.
see 1, 2, and 4.
There's
Oh,
one down on the bottom.
Oh, it's at
on
the very
84.
bottom.
Did I?
It's there,
I might
2025
have added it,
SUV
yeah.
Cruiser replacement, 2025 5-year lease through 2030. Maybe we can just move that up to underneath, move it from line 85 to line 80, 82. That way they're all together.
Yeah, so it looks like in 2022 warrant article number 13, we had a 55,000, or yeah, about 55,000 set aside for a cruiser. So, yeah, I can't tell whether or not that was like a one-time purchase or, you know, like a all one-shot purchase, or whether or not it was leased. So I'll look for that.
Yeah, and the warrant article itself won't tell you. Does it? Sometimes they do, depending on how they.
Sometimes it does.
I can always pull 2022's book and take a look at it and see.
That's what I'm scrolling through right now.
Okay. All right,
So it's
anything
just
else?
the one cruiser for you guys, for
The what?
the one cruiser
Third.
to go on this year.
Yeah, we just had one cruiser for this year. Yep. So
So you have no warrant, you have no
I don't have it
replacements for 2026? You had
correct.
you had it for 2025. So the
Right.
next one would be potentially 2027
right,
okay. And,
which I anticipate being significantly more than past years. So we try to. We've always been inconsistent as long as I've been here. We've had multiple different styles of cars, from Crown Vics to old style Ford Explorers to new style Ford Explorers, Tauruses to pickup trucks to Tahoes and Expeditions. What I want to do is get on like one vehicle, have all Tahoes, and be able to shift this equipment to the next car. With this Charger, I'm not getting another Charger. Ford doesn't, or Dodge does not make any more police package Chargers, so I just can't shift that equipment. Some of it I can, so I anticipate that is going to be a
little
way
more.
more expense. Yeah, just for the pure fact that I'm gonna have to get new equipment for a Tahoe.
okay, so do you have were you able to do one of these templates?
Yes, and
Yeah,
okay.
and it was kind of vague because I just.
Oh wait, no,
That's
that's
a
the
blank
review.
one?
I think it was just no, this is the libraries. I
Okay.
think I might have missed printing that, sorry. It was
I
just
can
the
shoot it
cruiser
over
on
to you.
there,
Yeah, it was
so-
just a cruiser, and I anticipated, the
It's like
cost of a new car in a couple years, and I estimated, what we're paying for like an outfitting for this new Tahoe, minus, some of the stuff I can transfer over.
Okay,
There's not a lot. Maybe the radio. I might try to replace the radio. The radio I have in that Charger now has had some issues. So I think I was
Oh, yeah.
it was close to 75,000 and maybe that I put in there
Yeah,
for a total upfitting.
cost, there we go, it's like mini, sorry.
each by vehicle, 15K for the vehicle equipment, lights, siren, radio, the thing on the side that says Madison and all that kind
Oh,
of.
the graphics are surprisingly not a lot of money, but yeah, that is all included as well.
Okay. What happens to the current vehicle, that 2019? Does it get sold at auction
So
or?
yeah, years pass, like with other town vehicles, they stick it down in front of the town garage and they invite silent bidders to, or just send a bid to the town, and I don't know how, on average, I feel like they only get a few grand for those cars because we have beat the heck out of them. We don't beat the heck out of them, but they take a beating.
Yeah, they're
Um,
heavy use.
So they're not like, there's not a lot, $3,000 is $3,000, but it's,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're so cool, everybody wants to buy them.
Well,
Really
I see
expensive.
them on the road, and then after a year or two, I don't see them anymore, so.
Well, now
That's
with New
all right.
Hampshire changing its rules too,
Right,
in
yeah.
January with inspections, you might see
You
more of
might
them
see those
on
old
the
truck
road.
cars show back up.
Right, so, but what I don't see on here is in the detail plan draft, There needs to be.
Sorry to put you on the spot, chief, I just thought it was a quick question.
Yeah.
Sure.
What we need to make sure is, because right now all we have in here is the 14,350 for the one we just bought. That goes out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It is a 5-year lease through 2030. What we need to put in here, excuse me, is potentially, wherever it goes, is the cost of replacing the 2019. Because you would be looking at that in a little over a year. So if we can
Yeah.
start saving a little bit of money now for that, then it helps alleviate. It gives us a better down payment if we
Right.
sell the car and have a little bit set aside. And that way, if we're gonna lease it, if that still makes sense, then the lease is only $10,000 a year kind
Sure.
of thing. So
Yeah, so chief, maybe we consider doing a police department expendable trust fund to kind of break up those costs.
I think it's a great idea. I mean,
You ask for
I know.
$20,000, in the town meeting, and then next year, when you ask to purchase one, you've got $20,000
Yep.
down payment, so we're paying less in finance charges,
And
or
then
that
every
goes
year-
towards, the $10,000 or $12,000 cost to equip it, just break it up in chunks.
I think it's a great idea. I know Effingham, the town of Effingham does that with their vehicles, and that's what made it so easy for them to buy the 2021 Silverado that we got rid of. They had the
They have
cash
money.
on hand, and
yeah.
they just approved it and purchased it.
Yeah, and we might be able to call it an emergency vehicle expendable trust, so it could be used between both the police and the fire. And each individual warrant article each year would stipulate how much money is being put in for, police get 5,000, fire get 2,000, whatever. That,
I think it's cleaner to do separate.
all right,
The one concern I do have is, I'm not blaming the last chief, but the two vehicles that we got, the 2021 and the 2022, virtually in the same year, when 8 years is up for those vehicles, that's gonna just be a larger cost, when it comes time to
'Cause it's two
replace-
vehicles.
'cause it'll be two vehicles, and, the vehicle I have now, I don't put as many miles on it as Sergeant Martin puts on his. I think I might have maybe 10,000, 12,000 less than him right now, and that number is only gonna get bigger, so, if I can, I would try to separate those two vehicles out a year apart, so.
is there a way to rotate them? Because Sergeant Martin's putting more miles on his vehicle, maybe
Yeah.
shift that vehicle to you or to whoever else is
Yeah.
not putting as many miles on it.
Yeah, I mean, you're
and that
just, yeah, and this car out here doesn't have a cage in it, so that's mainly why I've kept it.
Okay.
Because there's no separation from the
Between you
driver's
and-
seat and the guy in the back, and I've already run into issues with that, and I'm gonna
Can't get one
fix
of
that,
those.
but, yeah, that's always been something, we have always tried to consider these older cars as admin cars, or the part-timer vehicle, just because it's not seeing the road on a regular basis. But yeah, that's an option for sure.
Yeah, so that way maybe, as it gets closer, if you rotate it, you can stagger that out a little more so we're not buying two vehicles in the same year.
Right, yeah, and if I do just keep that and keep the miles down, then yeah, Sergeant Martin's vehicle would be the first one to
First.
go in that first year, and then
Okay,
we evaluate mine the following year.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
You're gonna save money for the white paint job,
For the white paint job? The what?
for the chief's car. Chief's car gets to be white.
Oh, Chief.
Yeah, I know, I don't, yeah, they're all gonna be black eventually, but, yeah, the only other things on there were the radar, actually the speed enforcement trailer and the boat. I don't know what the costs are gonna be for those. I don't have any plan to replace the boat ever. We only put maybe a few hours a year on it, so the engine hours are relatively low, that there's not a huge cost. I think the biggest cost for that boat is just the maintenance for winter storage, getting it out of storage. Dave Swift does essentially all of that. So yeah, there's not I don't see any big costs. Eventually we wanna try to put some money into, with the fire department, putting equipment on it. There's been talk of putting a pump on it.
On the boat?
Yeah.
How big is this boat?
It's been out here before. It's,
Yeah, like
it's
16
just
feet,
it's
16, 20 feet?
14 maybe.
14 feet?
Yeah, it's a fishing boat.
Yeah.
But it's got a deck on the front. You can put a portable pumper the size of a chair on the front. It basically, from what I understand, we've had 2 fires, and I'm not speaking for the fire chief, just my own experience. There's been 2 fires on the lake in the last 3 years maybe, and one of them was extremely hard to access, and pulling a boat up to the edge of the water and feeding it with a 2-inch fire hose, from a pump would certainly, be a high-speed way to
Start
To
putting
start.
it out. Yeah,
Um,
to support it.
But yeah, minimal things to outfit it, and then the speed enforcement trailer. There's no cost there. We take it off the road in the late fall, just to preserve it from the salt and elements. I don't even pay for a registration on it because it's a permanent registration. So we wash it and basically change the batteries out every few years, and so I don't have any plans to replace that.
Do we need a second one?
Not right now. I'm
Okay.
pursuing the
The signs
pole
on
mounted,
yeah,
the pole mounted graphic signs.
Right.
So currently waiting on that, but those are. I don't think those are items that. I can't foresee any major maintenance costs on them other than occasionally getting them serviced by TMDE, which does our in-car radars. Maybe if there's
Calibrating.
hardware or elements that need to be changed out, they do it. So
What about your office? Is that like
Yeah.
good too? Because we're kind of running into, it's kind of getting put back onto our committee to do the building, to figure out any issues with the building. So I know we have, Linda gave us like the porch and the ramp out
Okay.
there, but is there anything specific to the building that?
I would love to have the whole downstairs, or a new building. I think Chief King's brought it up in the past. There's kind of been echoes of it through the town hall. For us, the biggest
Well, I
challenge
would love to
here.
give you downstairs if I could have upstairs for town meeting.
The 3rd floor?
Yeah, if we could have the 3rd floor for these meetings and
Yeah,
get
or
rid of this
give me the
conference
3rd
room,
floor.
I'd be happy to give that
The
to Chief.
roof's falling.
Yeah, the biggest challenge for us right now, and it always has been, is evidence storage. I share an evidence room with the oil tank, so
Oh, gee.
I could take you back there at some point. I've transferred all the evidentiary or evidence management job to the Sergeant Martin, so there's just not a lot of space back there to store things. Firearms, there's probably is the most of what we have. Sexual assault evidence we have to keep for like 20 years, and I'm in the process of working with Sergeant Martin to consider upgrading our, current storage for that. Firearms don't survive back there. They just corrode, they get dirty, and I'm under no obligation to maintain them or keep them in, perfect condition, but it's just not a regulated space, and there's a lack of it. So
But
ultimately,
yeah, let's have that.
sure.
Let's have that as a project.
We've
And,
we've
Chief
brainstormed.
Brooks is also asking for significant changes to the fire department building. So maybe we do look into,
So that,
I don't know,
that
something
bring,
together, or, like you said, give you all downstairs. Like, let's add that to the CIP as a project and get that going.
so that brings up the subject of that infrastructure evaluation from Alpha, whatever their name is. I forwarded to you today.
Yeah.
The school is looking at working with an organization that will go through, under contract, they'll go through and they will evaluate the status of all of their equipment, all of their structures. Does it need a new roof? Do you need, you know, to be a legit, not that you're not legit, but to be a fully functioning, capable police department, you need an evidentiary area, you need firearm storage. That these are all separate areas, and they need to be, you know, locked off and controlled, access controlled kind of thing. They go through all of it and make recommendations, and then they also will asset tag everything, because I don't know that anything in town, maybe it does, has asset tags on it, like town property has asset tags on
Chairs.
it. The chairs
You go
do.
to the court and they do have those tags on every single chair.
Underneath the chair, right.
Yep.
And, you know, and maybe chairs aren't the right thing. Maybe the town wants to set it, like, if it's a $200 or
The
more.
radios and things.
Yeah, but for radios, computers, telephones, monitors, you know, all that kind of stuff, then I don't know that the town has asset tags on things, so it doesn't know necessarily when it gets rid of something, unless there's probably a spreadsheet somewhere. But anyway, this is an organization that's doing this. There is one town, the cost is being spread across, I believe it was 5 towns, but there's one town that is hesitant to do this because they've already done the lion's share of the work that this organization would do. So they're not quite sure that it's a good fit for them to have them come in and do it. But in order to make this economically feasible and have have the cost shared the way it is, they would need another entity, either another town with a school, or perhaps like us, the municipal portion of it. So the school board shared with me as chairman of the ABC, and then I brought it up Tuesday night at the ABC meeting and sent it to Linda for the board, because it's really a Board of Selectmen thing. And it looks like it's going to be about $13,000 for the school, but they only have like one campus over there. The town obviously has a lot more. We have the transfer station, we have the library, we have DPW, we have police and fire and town hall and, you know, all of that. So it would probably be more expensive, I would expect. But I don't know if this is something, because it would help with, here are some of the future projects we need to undertake, because guess what, your roof is this, or the structure is even, you know, iffy, or and there are things that we already know with regard to the front porch and this porch and that kind of stuff. But this is their job. This is what they do. These people are experts. We're all sort of, we kind of know our own equipment, we kind of know our own organization, we kind of know the use that happens, but I don't know that we have a true expert on staff that is an infrastructure facility expert that could do what they do. So it might be an opportunity then, if we do that the recommendations that would come out of that would be something then to say, okay, they recommend this for the police department and this for the fire department. Let's start working in that direction. So hopefully that gets brought up on Monday, and will then tie into the things that you might need. But it might be, Chief, in your best interest to do some of these with whatever information you have, even if it's nothing, even if it's just a blank piece that has the project name on it. So it's a visual stimulation that I need to be thinking about this.
Okay.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
definitely put together kind of your basic requirements that you need met, what isn't being met, you know?
Right.
Sure, I can absolutely do that.
Was that on your visioning sheet? Is that what you were gonna say before?
On your,
Yeah,
Gave them a
kinda.
visioning sheet for the master plan
oh, okay.
to
It's
get
basically the
everybody
bulk of it,
thinking about
yeah.
it.
And
Okay.
I mean, the cost of a new police department is probably not, I mean, I don't foresee it happening while I'm here.
Yeah.
But maybe some minor upgrades here and there, but,
Yeah.
and we've considered other things like, the layout of downstairs, like maybe pushing a wall out, making a window that's approachable. These tags up here on the door I put up because I recently went through an audit for criminal justice information systems, and the paperwork that we use, like criminal records, driving records, personal information, if it's, say it's on Tessa's desk inside the door, and you come in and it's in eyeshot,
Yeah.
it's a violation, and we can have our licensing privileges,
Revoked.
suspended,
Yeah.
which would cause us a whole plethora of issues. So, but making it, being able to be like more, not so much open door, have an open door policy, but like a walk up window, or like Mike Brooks has upstairs. At another desk, because we find ourselves all of us in there more often at once trying to work. So small things. I mean, I know a new building isn't going to happen anytime soon, but something that gives us a little bit more workable space while still being
You
able to be
never
in
know,
compliance.
I brought up during the ABC meeting that next year the projections are for there to only be 82 students in the school. Do we need an entire school, that big of school, for 82 students, or are there places where we could technically shut off, if you will, or lock down, that then don't get used by the school, but now they're available to the police department? Or to some other portion of town hall that allows you then to expand into here. I think that analysis has to be done. At what point is it not feasible to run in that entire school for 82 students? Is it 70 students that's the low end? Is it 100 students? What is that? And then what else, what other options are there available for the school? So you don't know. Don't ever say there's no, in the foreseeable future, no police
They've
department.
talked about the lower garage, the DPW garage, like getting rid of that and consolidating them all up top. And Bob King, Mike Mosier, Jake Martin have all, had these little brainstorming sessions of, we should move the police department down there and redo that whole area. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's part of the
I like
master plan.
that too.
Yeah, I think that's
But
been
yeah, it's a
part of the
bigger-
master plan to figure out what should happen. So that's
Yeah.
the other reason why I sent that to you, is because there might be a connection between the master plan efforts that are ongoing and this infrastructure evaluation thing.
Yeah.
So,
And definitely like any studies that come out of it. I mean, it's just advisory, so
Right.
we flood it and try and sort it out, and then see, prioritize which projects should have a study, or which projects can just go right to the CIP and
right, and
Figure it
get
out.
funded.
fund it. And then we're here.
Okay.
I bet that Linda and Kate might like it if we turned downstairs into storage as opposed to having going up to the second floor.
Oh, right.
This
Yeah,
is
there's
upstairs.
there's an unreal amount of shared space down here.
Well, and there's also an unreal amount of like
Unused space.
unused space. Like this whole big hallway here could be restructured.
Yeah. Yep.
And the doors, put another door in that comes into the conference room if you still need to keep this here, but those doors go directly just to the police department, and you're not necessarily your own entity walled off from everybody, but you're in a more structured environment.
Right.
So, but at any rate, so yes, by all means, bottom line is create one of these templates.
Sure. I'll do some. Yep.
Yeah, do a little, and then I'm happy to sit down with you and go through any of the line items. And if there are sheets that need to be done for replacing that 2019 vehicle in 2027, we start that sheet now, so that, we can start putting it in 2026, we can start putting some money in, working to create maybe a warrant article that creates that police expendable trust fund. And the language of that to make sure that you can use it not just for vehicles,
Sure.
but for, I don't know, repairs, major repairs, or,
Yeah.
anything else that you think you might, other equipment. It's not just, it's maybe, you need all new body armor, because the body armor's all 20 years old, and technology has improved for any of that
Yeah.
stuff, so.
I do have a special equipment fund that I recently found the budget, or I'm not sure how it's classified. I never see it in my budget, but all the money I collect for parking tickets, dog licensing fees, pistol permits, accident reports, all generates money, and it goes back into this special police equipment fund. And there's a substantial amount of money in there that I plan to use a little more frequently to offset my regular budget costs. And it
Yeah, I think
hasn't
that's on
been.
the fund sheet that you guys
Linda?
have in front of you. You guys
Special,
see that on the fund sheet?
I'm looking at special revenue accounts, Ballfield Conservation gift account, I don't know what that is for. Police special equipment account.
Yep.
Yeah, $4,700 at the end of 2024.
I think there's a little more. I just.
Yeah, because
I
there's
think a-
2025 monies that
I think-
probably have gone in here.
Yeah, there's.
Do you get an accounting for that, like every month or every quarter?
No.
You
and I
should
only,
be asking for it.
Yeah, well, I am now, and yeah, and I've learned. You know, we were only paying. Chief King was very.
Thrifty.
Thrifty. Yeah. I mean, we were only paying for like movies for Old Home Week out of there, and maybe ammunition here or there, but it's more like 7,000, I think, right now.
Yeah, you should.
So what's the
So-
process for that? People pay,
So
it to the
yeah.
town of Madison, it goes upstairs, and then Linda deposits it?
So, I make those deposits up to the town clerk myself. Every month I'll take, the checks I collect from permitting, I just bring them up and deposit them with him. And
So
then,
then they probably have
Yep,
the
so
town
I,
treasurer, George, go put
Yeah.
them in the bank. But if there's $7,000 in there, yeah.
And I feel like if you're needing like new equipment, that's very important.
yeah, well,
And
so
you shouldn't have to rely solely on dog permits and.
Taxation.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do have a line in our budget for police equipment every year, which has always been like 3,000, and sometimes we use it, for ammunition. It's a gray line. I try to use it, for ammunition or
I count ammunition as a supply, right? That's expendable.
I don't know. But for me, I want to replace the vest I have. That's as probably 8 years old now, and I'm not gonna. Vests are about $1,800, and then all the equipment that goes on it, because the stuff on my belt's not transferable to these new outer carriers. But yeah, that's not something. I mean, that's like more than half of the police equipment line, and I don't always know whatever these officers are going to need on the road, or if buying a cage for a cruiser out of that line. I don't know, but that special equipment line is something that I would utilize more than maybe my budget as an extraordinary purchase. We're not buying vests every year. We're not buying cruiser cages every year. So I'm just trying to. I need to familiarize myself with what it's actually been purchased out of that in the past, and should I be continuing to be frugal with that, or more aggressive? But,
If somebody gives you donations, does that go into that?
so it depends. In the past, we don't take a lot of donations. We have had other separate accounts that weren't associated with that. Like, for instance, I had a DARE account, which I used to take donations for. That was just a basic checking account with Citizens Bank. The department had the K9 fund, which again was another checking account through Citizens Bank, and we were able to make withdrawals out of it. But I don't take a lot of donations. It's not that it's a bad practice, but
It's like for
hasn't
specific
been-
things.
yeah.
Kids and dogs.
right.
Okay.
And I've considered, Officer Llewellyn goes to the DARE school next week for 2 weeks, and I've considered just maybe adding a line to my budget to account for it, because
It's training.
Yeah, I mean, well, just so with the DARE program, we get, the great thing about DARE is that I don't have to pay for basically any teaching supplies. So the workbooks that they get, we get through the state DARE program, so which is when I was there, it was several $100s. But we give these kids all the swag, like, you know, pencils,
Stickers.
doodads, T-shirts, and maybe have a party at the end. You know, and a lot of it I just paid out of pocket for it when I was doing it, and I was happy to. And I did have that deer fund. I was putting out coin collector jars at community market, and I would basically collect, you know, a couple $100 in quarters and then deposit it into that checking account, and then I could just draw from it when I needed. But and it's just, you know, it's a consideration I've made, so I might do it. I don't know. Or do I take it out of that special equipment fund?
Well, you need to figure out, to a certain extent, when they established that police special equipment account, and was it based on a warrant article, or just, and what was the intended purpose? Just so that if somebody ever does an audit, which should be done probably every 5 years of them, if not
I'm sure
every
it's
year.
it's in the town report, that's where I pulled that from.
Yeah, but not the description necessarily of why it was established.
Correct.
So that you don't run afoul of taking money out of it for a
Right.
reason, and it's like, no, it can only be used for equipment.
Yeah,
kind of.
it's always been around since I've been here.
Right,
I
so-
just never knew how the former chiefs used
The
it.
mechanics of using it, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, let's just get all that upstairs, like she has warrant articles there, or she has like books of showing what fund was created out of what warrant article and why. But she's got all that upstairs in books, so.
if it was even
Is that the
created,
only,
it's not an ETF, so there is a chance it was not created via a warrant article.
I think it, cause even like the rec revolving fund, that they accept donations and can write checks out of, that had to be a warrant article.
Yeah, but the Rec Square account wasn't.
That goes into that rec revolving fund. That's
It's-
where it's just a method of,
It's a separate
That's
account.
money
It's
into
listed
that
as a
fund.
separate account on this piece of paper. As well
Where
as
is it
the
revolving?
electronic payment account. The rec electronic payment account is a separate account. It's not under the
there's a
revolving
holding
credit
area
account.
until it gets into the revolving fund.
Well, I'm sorry, I talked over you.
Weird. I'll look at, yeah, we'll look at it later.
Yeah,
But Chief, how many accounts do you have? Do you just have that one special equipment one, like is the canine closed? Is
Right,
the-
yeah, the canine one, those should be all closed now.
yeah, it's not on this sheet, so.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Don't want to keep Chief too long.
Sorry we kept you as long as we did,
Oh,
but I'm
it's all
glad
right.
that if we
I'm
get
here all
you more
day.
space, it was.
Thanks for-
glad
yeah,
you in,
thanks
you
for
get more
calling me
space
over.
out of it.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, well, thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thanks ladies.
All right, anything else?
Actually, that was really good because we just had the cruiser, so now we kind of have a better idea
Yeah.
of like what else you can add on to it, and
Yeah.
that's good. So now I feel like we should have Chief Brooks come too, and that would round us right out. But I mean, it is almost noon.
Right.
The final one that we received was from Chief Brooks, and he had the fire trucks and the different equipment
Yeah, I don't, and I,
included.
you guys got that. And I was on the phone with,
Did I?
mine didn't necessarily, I mean, I had this piece of it, the first detail piece of it, but, I didn't have any of the, that's what I've got.
Yeah, because the summary on the fire department is the chief was very thorough.
Yeah.
He filled out the details plan, he changed a lot of things from last year,
I have
so that was helpful. And then he gave us 9 cost analysis forms for 9
Yep.
purchases and
And I
projects
don't have
that
any,
he'd like to start planning for.
that.
I don't have any of those cost analysis forms. All I had was a blank one.
So,
So weird.
It's very weird.
Maybe I should try to PDF them, and that way you're not trying to fuss with Excel.
There
I
you
can
go.
just PDF them and send them to you separately.
Okay, so until I actually have a chance to look at them, I can't comment on them because I haven't had a chance
Right.
to look at them.
So maybe they're for the next meeting.
yeah.
And then maybe we can get him to come to the next meeting.
Yeah, and I have them here, but
So that way, if we have questions like we did with DPW and Chief, then he's here.
Yep,
yeah, I can send him an email and, or just call him and see what he has, cause he has a 2026. The 01 Freightliner, he has a 2026 replacement of the 05 GMC. 2027 new UTV. 2029. Oh wait,
Yeah, if you could send those to
Yeah.
me, so that
he
way I
has
could
quite a few.
do sort of the same thing that I did with what, just start writing stuff on them and like what questions I have and, because I know that this is the first time we're doing this, so they're all gonna not necessarily be complete and, so, Joy, if you could PDF them and email them to me and to Tia,
Yeah.
that way she has them so that they all look,
I know, these
Not
don't
like
look
that.
good at all. I was like, oh
They
no,
didn't
just
print
print
well.
these out.
they did not print well for her. Oh, this is, you can have that.
But yeah, he had a pretty substantial one.
Okay.
And then I did get a question from Kate about the maintenance for the Forester, and she was wondering why that's on here.
Kate, Kate Young,
Kate Young upstairs.
what
for-
Forester?
For the conservation. She was just wondering why it's on this.
oh, the like the forest maintenance account. Yeah, so we were just putting them in because they were funds, we were just kind of consolidating things that we fund, is
And
kind
that's
of
what I
why,
thought.
so, yeah. So we're gonna remove those,
Okay.
we're
and
gonna remove
that's-
the funds from there,
Remove the funds from where?
So
from the
on,
CIP detailed data sheet.
on page 3.
Didn't we specifically ask for them to be put on there at the bottom? Just so we would have visibility of them?
Well, we're talking kind of about shifting things around where the DPW, DTF that funds their equipment go on the bottom of like the DPW page. Like we're talking about potentially, like separating out the departments by page. And then having other ways of collecting, still showing like the 10-year data, right? Still showing the 10 and 20 years out, but just focusing on department by department, here's the funds that are going to fund these capital improvements and equipment that you need.
But I also liked the idea, because we talked about removing them, like you said, removing them as a line item in the plan
Yep.
detail, but at the bottom of the plan detail, at the very bottom, having a list of them all with the, end balance from each year and where they stand now and what was added, like that page that, I don't know that you have this. Does she have this page?
Yep, that's in the spreadsheet. It's in my whole giant spreadsheet. It is a tab in the spreadsheet. So
Yeah,
you can still track that information, but
okay.
just remove it from the CIP line item.
So, and so where is this accounted for otherwise? Would you know?
The Conservation Commission's forest maintenance account.
Yeah.
Kate tracks those.
It
That's good.
shows up in the annual report at the end of the year. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
I've always had, I don't want to say a concern, I've always had like, wait, there should be more visibility about this. So I've started asking for the ABC and we get the ETFs, we're not getting yet these special revenue accounts from the town treasurer's report. We're not seeing those on like a quarterly basis.
Okay.
And I think that we should, because these are town monies, so to speak. There are some nuances regarding whether they're town monies, because a lot of them some of them may come from, donations and things of that nature. So having visibility of all of them that shows what access the town has to funding, period, I think is very important. Because we keep asking for money to do things, but yet maybe the Conservation Committee account, which is closed now, never mind, but the Forest Maintenance account has $64,000 in it. And we added 10 more thousand at town meeting, or added 10,000 at town meeting.
So, I mean, even in terms of rec, like, so we can see for rec pulled in fees and rec pulled in donations. So they go into different areas. Fees go back into the general fund, donations go into this rec revolving trust, which is kind of like checkbook. And, you know, before recs come and ask for like an increase in their budget, well, hey, what does your revolving fund look like?
You have $10,000
Out of
almost.
that, as
91
opposed to increasing your budget.
Right, you have $9,100 in your rec revolving account and electronic payment account. You want $2,000. Why can't you use money out of those?
So it's just to keep track of it, and so she was explaining like, oh, this is used, you know, we cut the trees, and then the monies go, part of it is payment to the forester through that.
Yes, Kim Nolan?
Yep, and just wondering why it's on there, so it's for visibility.
It was just for visibility,
Okay.
and it's gonna actually come off and go into a separate list like this.
Yeah, and we're kind of keeping track of, yes, just CIPs, and so I was explaining like for the planning board last night, I was like, so where would we want to put potentially a savings, where would we want to show that, and where would we want to save for the next master plan? We know we're going to need one. It's not exactly an expenditure here on the CIP, but we could keep better track of that and plan for things.
There's
that,
an ETF,
and now there's
Yeah, there's-
ETF, yes.
so you could
Yeah, there's an
fund
expendable trust fund that was created last year, and I think
Yeah.
we put
25, there's
into it.
25K in it,
Yeah,
which we could
Yeah.
then add 5K this year, you know,
Right.
and then 5K the next year, 5K the next year, because you're only gonna do a master plan once every 10 years.
right, right.
So in 10 years, you'd have $50,000 to do part of the master plan kind of thing. So yeah, all those things, because there's an ETF for it, a non-lapsing ETF. So if you don't use the money, it stays there. Some of them are
Try
lapsing.
and use it.
Right. Some of them are lapsing, so that if you don't use it, that money goes away.
Back into
Goes
general.
back into the general fund.
Okay. And so, as a CIP committee, though, are we responsible for keeping track of this, or is this just for our own knowledge here?
We are not responsible for keeping track of this. Town
Okay.
Hall, upstairs, the town administrator and
Okay.
Kate, they're responsible for keeping track of it. However, I do think it's important for us to have visibility of it and be able to see what the balances are, what, you know, what's been used, what hasn't been used. And
Yeah.
for your purposes, I think, Linda for the ABC, you should come sit on the ABC.
Come check it out.
Yeah,
Because Tia needs one more board to sit on.
right. Let's see, what did I do here? Oh, this is I brought this for you here. I sent this to you. This is the
Oh.
alpha thing.
Oh, okay, thank you. So,
I think I
would
pulled
it be
this up.
helpful for us to, so we have the departments. I think the only one I didn't get was code enforcement.
Which is really only the vehicle.
It's the vehicle, so I can
Maybe,
touch back.
unless we ask him, like maybe he needs more room, or he needs some, you know, stuff done to his office area to make it more easily, you know, manageable in there. I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend to know what people need, and I think that we just need to talk to them and ask them.
Yeah.
Here's what.
And then,
This is what we get. I'm showing her the copy that we get of the expendable trust fund summary for the ABC meetings, and so although I will tell you, Tuesday night when we talked about it, she's like, "What is this that you're looking at?" I said, "It's what you sent me." She's like, "This is way wrong." She said, "I do not know what happened. This is all screwed up. Disregard it. I will redo it and get it to you for the next meeting." She said, like, what? So she's like, yeah, this is all wrong.
okay.
So she fully acknowledged that maybe what she did is when she changed the numbers, she forgot to save it and then hit print and it didn't save, so it didn't have the updated numbers in it.
Okay.
So we get this, and it tells us the year it was created, what at the end of last year was in the fund, what was added,
Okay.
what's that subtotal, what's been expended in 2025, and the new balance.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
But for
that's
CIP,
helpful.
I think it's good information to have, and I can always
Yeah.
provide it based on the updates she gives us at the ABC.
Okay.
So that as we're going through this, we can see, because sometimes there are alternatives. Use the ETF. You got money in there, you haven't used it in 5 years, use the ETF.
Yeah. And then my other question is for general government. So anything with this building goes into general government?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're keeping track of this potentially because it's a project and
And it's gonna cost money.
otherwise it's in an ETF and it's
Right.
taken care of upstairs though?
When you say otherwise it's in an ETF, what does that mean?
So each line item
Right, so
in here
this,
has its own ETF.
right,
and
this
then-
assessing ETF will come off of here. It will not be on here, because it's not a project, it's not a piece of equipment that needs to be replaced, it's just a fund. So
Okay.
anything that it says ETF on it will come off of this list and go down, on,
into its own little
right,
tab.
ETFs have its own tab or whatever. And it may be on the tab that is the department, so when you see the general government tab, at the bottom of it, it'll have the ETFs that are associated with that general government line, which would be the assessing one,
Okay.
that kind of thing. And or at the very beginning where the big detail tab is like this, at the bottom has all the ETFs, so that you can see in one fell swoop, this is how much money that are in ETFs that the town has access to, and these special revenue accounts.
Okay. That's great. That works.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Joy, does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just further just organizing it to show that, hey, we're not necessarily keeping track of what you're doing and how you're spending it, but we just wanna know, we wanna be able to see it so it's on a tab and it's updated.
And it has impact on the budget.
Yeah.
So that, from a planning perspective,
Yeah,
visibility.
so those projects, the general government building section of the CIP, where we have, new projects like the front porch and things like that,
Yeah.
my understanding is that whoever is in charge of town hall, whether that's DPW or administration or whomever, whoever is responsible for the building, would be putting together, getting the estimates, filling out the cost analysis form, and maybe that's the selectmen. But filling out that cost analysis form, getting 3 quotes and blah, blah, blah. And then, I think there is that general government ETF, so yeah, that will slide over onto that other page. But then we know, okay, we want to do the front porch this year, or the side porch that goes to the meeting room this year, the front porch next year. Let's make sure that we're funding, that ETF so we can afford to pay for it.
Okay. Can that go to the Board of Selectmen to decide who will be responsible for this admin building?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, that would be helpful. And then I think we really have every department covered. So you'll check on admin building, and then I will check on code enforcement. And then we have our major departments covered. All right.
And we're gonna see if Mike Brooks can come to the next meeting.
Oh, yes, and I'll even
Check on admin. And, I'm sorry, you're gonna check on what,
Bob Boyd
Oh,
and,
check on
Chief
code.
Brooks. I'll just see if they can both come over. And our next meeting is on the 20th, 11:30, and it's at the Madison Library.
Yes.
Okay, so make sure Matt TV has that change in venue.
Okay. Well, I think it was on the original notice,
Yeah, it was.
on the meeting notices of when and where they are.
Okay,
So, but Carol's here, I'll just have her make a note that November 20th, 11:30 a.m., but it's at Madison Library. Down in the chick room?
Yes.
Yeah.
so we're moving there because there's a
Meeting here.
in that.
Yeah. I
Is it
think
easier
it's-
for us to just change the time and date of our meeting so that Mad TV doesn't have to go set up in the library?
You know, at this point, because it's only a couple of weeks away and everybody's schedules are set, I say leave it.
Yeah, I just leave
Okay.
it. If that's okay with you.
I won't be here, but
Somebody will.
somebody will.
Okay.
I mean, at the
I'll
library.
check with Asia.
Okay, thank you. All right, sounds good. All right, is
Right.
there anything else? Joy, do you have anything else?
Nope, appreciate all your work, ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks
then
for
Thank you,
tuning in.
Carol.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, seconded.
I'll second.
Joy can second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
By roll
Roll call
call,
vote.
Joy,
Roll call vote. Joy, aye.
Tia, aye.
Sharon, aye.
Peace out.